Wakey, wakey.
Welcome back to I'll Make a Stay Out of You, the podcast where we have just now completed round 1 of Kingdom. Tom, how you doing?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, my mouth is on fire right now because Anna made me some ramen and
Spicy ramen.
it was spicy, yeah. But, you know, as far as why we're here, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
This was a great episode. You know, for us and our viewers in Discord, it's only been a day, right? But for the listener, you've had to wait a whole week to hear this. The remaining 3 performances from this first round.
Yeah, they've just been over there with the other 3.
Well, so it's fresh in my mind because it was literally last night.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I made a prediction, or okay. I guess it was a prediction.
Yeah, it's a prediction.
I said that I believed that the 3 performances tonight would all be better than the 3 performances from the previous episode.
You did say that.
And I was right. Oh my God. All of these were so good.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big fan of these. And I'm actually shocked that you say that a little bit, just a little. For specific reasons. I'm sure we'll get into it.
Because
it's SF9. One of those is SF9. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I must know more, but we'll get there. Stray Kids was first. Stray Kids went first.
Well,
they had a big.
Yeah, they went first tonight, 4th overall. Yeah.
4th overall, right? They had set the order, and they went 4th last time and got first place, so they were like, we're sticking with lucky number 4. And they met with their team, Division 1 at JYP, to kind of get their feedback and give their perspective on like what they thought they should do next. Some people suggested everybody thought like, we got to do God's Menu, right? Like the theme is like To the World, and God's Menu is like a big song, so like let's do that one, right? But
is it one of their? Is it their
at
best?
The time? It was the best It was the most watched music video from Stray Kids on YouTube.
Right.
Like it had 200 million views at that time. It's way more than that now.
Well, is it still there? Well, as far as like what I know, just from hearing about Stray Kids and you know, like out in the wild when people talk about Stray Kids, if they know Stray Kids at all, it's always like in reference to
song.
God's Menu.
Right.
So I feel like that is their international hit right now, or at least at this time.
Yeah, so there's no reason for them not to choose that. Yeah. Like that's the one that they're gonna choose. So that makes sense. Like, yeah, but yeah, it's you know, yeah, it's a good song, but they wanted to do something different with it, and like they pointed out in that meeting that like they had remixed that song like 100 times for end of year award shows, which I love. Like they do these end of year award shows, they do these big stage productions, and like Stray Kids always kills it. The one they did it last year, and their performance was like so awesome. And there were other groups that were also performing on those stages, and like the comments on it were like, no one here. There were like people who were like, my alt group is that one, but Stray Kids was better. Like, I was like, Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, everyone that is a fan of B2B has to be saying that these days, right?
How dare you? Why would you even bring them up? Okay, rude. They're so good, and they're
spoilers. They're at the bottom of my list still.
So damn it. Yeah. Well, they haven't performed anything different, so why would they have changed?
Exactly. Yeah. They've had 2 performances, and they did nothing different both times.
Well, so I mean, from yesterday, when we recorded yesterday, nothing would have been done to change your mind. So how would it have changed? Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know, maybe one of the groups that performed tonight would have done like, nothing. Like if like SF9 had gone out there and like, I don't know, just laid down on the ground, they would have like done the same as B2B for me.
Really? Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Interesting.
That's kind of harsh.
Yeah, it's like, that's really harsh. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
B2B, you're amazing singers, but come on, do more. Do more.
We'll see. Maybe they will. Okay, so Stray Kids, right? Stray Kids.
Yeah.
The suggestion was made that they should do a mashup. And that perhaps, I think very early on,
you said Elevator.
I think when the staff said that they thought, like, they had a meeting to like brainstorm before they met with the group, and they thought, what if we mash up God's Menu with Elevator?
Right.
And I just love like Bangchan being like outright just like, nah, that's not gonna work. Like, nah, I don't think so. And they took the suggestion that they would instead do side effects and God's Menu. It's too bad that didn't work well together.
What? No,
it worked very well
amazing.
together. Jesus Christ.
It worked so well. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't realize that both songs had played.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, they blended it so well.
Yeah, eagle-eared listeners will realize that yesterday in the last episode, when I was talking about the mashup that Icon did, I specifically was digging at them because I knew that this was coming, because they did a mashup, but like they did like the front half as one song and the back half as another song, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know, maybe they would do better if they weaved it in and out more and like actually made it more of a mashup rather than two songs. But it's like, it's a choice. It's fine. It's a choice.
It was a wrong choice, though.
Well, I don't know. Like, maybe jumping back and forth between the two tones of those songs would not have made sense and would not have worked for the storyline, and I think that's fine.
Yeah,
I just think that the skill that was brought by Bangchan putting those songs together, incredible. Like, incredible. Yeah.
That's okay. And there it is right there, is that, like... he had all of the material already ready for him, but the previous group, who was it that did the two song mashup?
Icon.
It was Icon.
Yeah.
They just took a chunk of their song,
right?
Did that, and then took another chunk of a different song, and then did that. Whereas Bangchan like remade two songs into one, and then made that a performance. Like that alone. He could release that. That's a new song, right? That they could just release before we even get to the performance aspect of it. So he's already ahead,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's crazy. It's such a good. Yeah, it was really good. Let's do. We can just talk about the performance, because like they did. I guess, all right. Behind the scenes, they were concerned in the episode about I just say that because I'm just like, is that real, or do they have to have some drama for Mnet for the show? You know what I mean? Like, they were concerned though about doing acting on stage for this performance, and I think that this performance really starts to show a sense that I have gotten from Felix, which is that, like, he has a greater responsibility in these because Hyunjin's not here. Like, Hyunjin is another person who's very good at being expressive and acting and showing that through his movement. And Felix, because he's not there, has a greater burden to do that. And he fucking killed it in this. It's like every bit of it, when he's like hitting the bell and moving forward, and even when he does the like the smile when he takes off his like hoodie jacket thing, it all works. It's all like really good. And he's like, when he's staring deep into the camera, like, oh my God, it's really good. Like, so I know, right, Felix is my number one. We know this. And yet I'm still like impressed by him even now. Like, I know that he's good, but I'm so impressed. Like, it's, yeah, he killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Yeah. I feel like we're always gonna be able to come back to these words are gonna haunt me forever when when I said what did we lose?
What did we lose? Yeah.
And
harsh.
Well, look, this is me growing as a person. When
right.
I can admit I was wrong. Like having seen Felix or Felix's involvement in like all of the songs and performances that I enjoy, like, are my picks. He's part of the reason that like they are so high up for me,
Right.
So
yeah.
Felix is he's a good boy.
He is a good boy. He's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's real good. Yeah, other standout. We actually watched the fan cam for Bangchan, and it's specifically because Jeanette wanted to point out the fact that he had to get to the part where there's like a part where he's like mirror imaged by a dancer who's hanging upside down. And to get there, he had to run from like the center of the stage off to the side, up some stairs, and he made it barely in time for the cue for him to start dancing and singing. Incredible. And like and also he's live mic'd and he doesn't sound out of breath. He's got like good breath control to where he's able to run at like a full sprint, stop after climbing up the stairs, and be able to sing with like a steady tone.
That's called being in shape.
Dude, for real. It's crazy. I mean, he did super well as well. Sungmin was awesome. He had to do a lot of acting at the very beginning and had struggled with feeling embarrassed about that when they were in the practice room, so that was funny. Yeah, I the common thread continues of them making fun of Changbin because he asked he told Sungmin, like, okay, just act like you want me and you want to come for me and you can't resist me. And Sungmin said something along the lines of just like, oh well, now I'm definitely not going to be able to get into character. Like, he's he looks like an innocent puppy, but he will gut you, okay?
Changbin?
With his words. No, I mean Sungmin.
Oh, Sungmin. Yeah.
Yeah, Sungmin will like look at you, smile like a puppy, and then be like, stab with my cold words. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Oh man. It's so good. There are so many parts of it where like I couldn't take my the reactions, right, from the other groups.
Yeah.
They cut to every room, and in every single room, just jaws wide open.
Yeah.
They're just like, what am I watching? Like, just on the floor. There no other, like, even though there are other good performances tonight that we watched, no other group had such like a crazy original, like, big production like that. I mean, other people did big things, we'll talk about it, but like it was so well thought out and simple to understand, which is important, I think.
Yeah.
I think if you have a complicated storyline,
that is important. I mean, it helps a lot that they can sing and like put their own words, right, their own lyrics and to whatever story they're trying to tell with the dance. Because one show that I was subjected to years back was So You Think You Can Dance.
Yes.
Which I like. I appreciate the amount of effort and stuff and skill that goes into dancing well, But
Right.
like the biggest problem that I always had with that show was that they're only dancing. I mean, there's music that's playing, but what the performer is doing is only dance. And so they are trying to tell me a story in their dance, and I never get it. You know,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just don't see. I just don't get it. And so I'm watching this show, and I'm just like, this is stupid. It's just people wiggling around on stage. You know?
Okay.
But
Sure.
Stray Kids, you know, they're my boys, and they're telling me a good story. And
Yeah.
and maybe I wouldn't understand it if there weren't lyrics to it, but it sure does look nice.
It looks great. They did awesome. I mean, like, even from the very first moment, there's like a giant white sheet with bodies under it. Like,
Yeah.
that was the shot they started on. And everyone's like, what the hell? What am I looking at? Yeah, they just had bodies under there. And then, like, they're being puppeteered, and then they get the bell, and they, like, break free of this control and become themselves, and they take control. Like, very simple storyline, but it works. Like,
Mhm.
they take it from evil to live. You know?
Which
Yeah.
they put on the back. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, behind Han.
Yeah.
Yeah, behind Han, like, they do a move, and see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, in the last episode, we talked about how, like, there was some shoddy camera work.
Yeah.
But in Stray Kids, when that happens, right, when it goes from evil to live on the screen in the background behind Han, literally the camera goes up and comes down on the beat, and that is when it changes to live from evil behind him. And, like, that was all coordinated. That was practiced for. Like, they did that perfectly. So,
and on purpose.
And so it makes me more inclined to blame the groups for those mistakes that they had with the cameras.
You think the it's not the camera crew to blame for that. It's definitely the composition.
And I don't know, not every group, and even Stray Kids, right? They have their whole staff. They have their teacher who does their choreography. Like, they have all that stuff, right? Like, they have staff that helps them do things. But we know that Bang Chan is very specific and really gets into the details, whereas some other groups may not have that ability to push their weight around as much, or maybe they're busy with their baby mama. I don't know. So it's like, it's hard to say for sure, like, what caused it, and they'll never tell us. So, I think it's easy to just blame Mnet and be like, the camera operators, shake my fist. But then you see a performance like this where the camera is used really effectively, and I don't know, like, it's hard not to be more critical in retrospect. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be so harsh on them, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo Young came in and brought them some snacks, made some jokes, and then watched their practice, and was just like, "How is anybody gonna beat this? Like, I don't understand how anyone could beat this." Yeah. So it's like, all right, yeah, fair enough. Good job. Thanks, Woo Young.
And I thought that he would say more, but I think the advice that he gave was good enough. I mean, and I don't know what else you can say, because what he said was, be nervous and practice and try to get it perfect in here, but when you go out there, just do it. Just don't worry about it. Just do it anyway, and if you mess up, just don't worry about it. Hakuna Matata,
Yeah, Hakuna Matata. It means Ateez for the rest of your days.
Which I think is important, right? I try not to stress too much about things that I have to do, right? Because, like whenever I go, like, take a test, for instance. Like, I really focus hard on not being stressed out about something like that, because I have to do it, and there will be an outcome. Right. So I have to accept both outcomes, or however many outcomes there could be. You just have to accept all of them, even if you want one more than another,
Yeah. Well, that is a very healthy outlook on it. So good for you.
Well,
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like no matter what I say, I will be leaving something out. But the performance is just so good. I have to talk about Bung Chun's ad lib. At one point he goes, "Ow!" I'll play it right here. And he does this big ad lib where he screams, and I fucking love it. And anytime that I watch the performance, and this is one of the performances from Kingdom that I will regularly go back and watch. Like if I'm just like feeling like I want to listen to something, like this is one of them.
yeah.
And the other two that I listen to all the time, we haven't heard yet. So
Okay.
prepare yourself.
Sure.
I listen to a lot more than just those three. But I have like three main ones that I go back to all the time.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. It's really good. So how about that?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. So yeah, Stray Kids killing it. Absolutely killing it.
I do apologize to all the listeners that I'm clearing my throat so much. I just, I had spicy ramen. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We'll allow it this time.
Yeah.
The next team, Ateez.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot to talk about with the Stray Kids performance. I mean, they did so much, but yeah. Ateez was next, and do you want me to tell you like everything that I thought?
Yeah.
During that performance,
I'd love to hear it. Let's hear it.
I thought that it was as good, if not better, than the Stray Kids performance.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was better. I'm saying that as far as all of the aspects that I'm looking for, right, are concerned, they did just as good with this performance. And so I was really on the fence about whether like they would be number 1 or number 2 in the rankings. And I mean, as we found out later, right, that it was pretty.
You weren't too far off.
Right, it was pretty close. And
it was.
I feel like they could, like, when the rankings come out, which we will find out, or I will find out next week.
Next week, yeah. And so will the listener.
Yeah. So will the listeners.
Next week.
The listeners can find out right now. They can Google it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But if they're following along with us, they'll find out next week.
Yeah. And so next week I will find out what the actual rankings were. But I believe that first and second will be Ateez and Stray Kids. And I'm not saying like in that order. I'm saying first and second will be those two groups. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Because of this performance. Like they both did really well. Ateez fucking killed it.
Yeah, I think Ateez's performance was incredible. So the song they did was Wonderland, and they they had this whole segment where Hongjoon was just like, I'm in the studio and I'm just watching Pirates of the Caribbean, and I couldn't help but think about like how The Boys was like so focused on Game of Thrones, and we literally just talked about like, oh, well, like, Game of Thrones was airing as they were growing up, so it's like formative for them. And here we are in the very next episode, and Hongjoon's like, yeah, I'm just, kicking back watching Pirates of the Caribbean. And I'm like, man, there's no chance that you could catch me going like, oh, I just want to kick back and watch a movie and put something on, and that would never be the choice. I would never choose that.
Really? You wouldn't just pick Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, because like, why would I? There's so many other movies. Like, I don't know. I've seen it a couple times, so that's enough.
I don't know. I enjoy the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah, but you're also 8 years younger than me.
Oh my god, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
It does. You were younger when it came out.
What year did The Curse of the Black Pearl come out?
If you think I'm not looking this up, you're wrong. I'm gonna look it up.
I
my phone.
I want you to look it up. Yeah, tell me. I mean, I know
So
that it was when I was in school, but still, 2000. Okay, 2003. Are you kidding me?
2003.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait.
I was
how old
in
was I?
college.
How old was I? 2003. 13. Is that how math works?
Oh my god, I'm so old. What? I was in college.
10, yeah, 13. Yeah.
Right. So you were a child and I was in college, and it didn't have as much impact on me because you were a child when it came out. So that's what I'm saying. All right. Now, I think we should. Well, I think he was talking about the original Pirates of the Caribbean,
12.
but they
12 or
didn't
13,
actually
whatever.
specify. They never did specify that he was watching Curse of the Black Pearl. So
Yeah,
could be any of them.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Is there's so many that came out. We're talking about how Game of Thrones was formative for their years. So was Pirates of the Caribbean. They were pumping out Pirates of the Caribbean movies during Game of Thrones, were they not? Didn't some of them come out?
I don't know. I've only seen I've watched the first 3.
Aren't they still trying to make one now that the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard bullshit is over with?
Oh God!
I hope everyone's
never
back
have to,
on Johnny's side as they should have been all along.
It's I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Anyway.
The point is that you should sit down and just it's like Fast and Furious. I don't think you're ever I want to watch all of the Fast and Furious movies because I want a cinematic masterpiece of an experience. You're just I want something that's fun and doesn't have to be incredible to pass the time. And Pirates of the Caribbean will scratch that itch, especially if you're into pirates or the Caribbean or curses.
Okay.
Or
I'll tell you this. I have been tempted recently because another podcast that I was listening to discussed. They were talking about a Fast and the Furious movie, which I had no perspective on because I hadn't seen it. And I was like, should I just watch them all? Should I just do it and just put myself out of my misery and just watch all of the Fast and the Furious movies?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm considering it. I will not say for sure one way or another, but maybe I will watch all the Fast and the Furious movies. I've seen the first 2. The second one was so bad. It was really bad. So it's been a while.
The second one was bad?
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Too Fast, Too Furious? Yeah. So Too Fast, Too Furious is...
That's the one when Ludacris joins the crew.
It is when Ludacris is there and he's running his little racing empire in Miami, right? And
yeah,
it's okay. It's not great, but that's the point. It's it doesn't have in order. The number one best Fast and Furious movie. Obviously,
can I just point out? You can continue, but I just want to point out that before you're giving your order on how you think that the artists are being ranked for this round, you're gonna give your top Fast and the Furious movies. Okay, continue.
No, don't worry. The list is not exhaustive. Okay. Number 1, the original, The Fast and the Furious. Because it's just so good, all right? And it was before all the bullshit started, right?
Right.
Number 2, Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
That's it. Those are the only 2 you really need to worry about. Everything else is just kind of filler for more of the characters that you liked from the first and third, right?
Yeah. I was a big fan of Initial D. And I thought it was weird that they just made an Initial D movie and called it Fast and the Furious, and that at the end Paul Walker shows up. I haven't seen it, but that's what I know is that Paul Walker shows up at the end. Or no, not Paul Walker. Who shows up at the end? Was it Vin Diesel? Does Vin Diesel show up at the end?
Oh, are you talking about Tokyo Drift?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Vin Diesel that shows up at the end. Okay. First of all, spoilers. Okay, wow, you haven't even seen it yet, and you already know about this Vin Diesel cameo.
Yeah, the cameo because I was personally aghast at them even making this movie because I was just a huge fan of Initial D at the time, the anime about street racing in Japan. And so I was just like, why would they do this? This seems stupid. And then they just like slap the Fast and the Furious name on it. And I was just like, this is weird. So I don't know. I look, I'm telling you that there's some possibility I could be convinced to watch them all in order and then provide my feedback. Something that I might do, but who knows?
Yeah. So
Anyway.
the rest, every Fast and Furious movie after that, Too Fast and Furious, whatever, but all of them after that is just like, I don't know, them trying to push the envelope on how stupid they can make the car scenes, you know, like how crazy and unrealistic but cool and corny, you know, they can make all this stuff. And some of it is like, I don't know, it's just fun to watch, and so that's the point of it, and that's what you have to go into it expect. Like I watched one in theaters, and it's the one I think it's like I don't know, 5 or 6.
If you say so. I don't know how many there are.
Remember when I was working at Kabam and we were coming out with the Fast and Furious game, and I
don't remember that, but what? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It was when we were going to the bars drinking a lot, you know.
Oh, okay, sure.
And
I went to one of those.
Yeah, but they had us like go to the theater and watch the movie that we were like making the game for, and it was the one where Dom has to jump out of his car and catch Letty in midair and then land on another car on the other side of the highway that's like a bridge. And it's just so fucking stupid, but it's awesome. And so you got to watch it.
Yeah. All right. Maybe I could be convinced to do that. I'm not put off by things getting campier and cheesier. Like I actually like campy, cheesy movies. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someday. But tell me more about Ateez. Oh, or I could tell you something about Ateez.
Okay.
There was a controversy.
Oh.
You may have noticed that like they had like a huge set and a lot of props. I mean, and a giant kraken tentacle, right?
Yeah, they had a kraken.
Meanwhile, some other groups didn't have a kraken. You know, like it seemed there was some disparity, and so there were several accusations of people used the term favoritism. I don't think that's fair. Basically, all the groups, and this is gonna fuck you up, right? All the groups for this round had a budget of 5 million won, which is like $4 million, $4 million US dollars, just for this round.
For the round?
For the round, yeah. That was the budget that they were supposed to use, and with Ateez specifically caught a lot of flack, I believe, from Korean fans, which sucks. Or I guess they're not fans if they're catching flack from them. But because they used props that they had already had built for their tour. So they had these. So like the big Kraken tentacle thing, probably a prop from actually doing a live show, a big live tour thing, and tentacle comes out and they shoot it or whatever. Like. That was probably
so they're saying they went over budget without actually going over budget.
Right. I think that's the implication. But like anytime you get these like controversies and then you get like feedback from like Mnet being like, oh well, you know, we'll do better in the future, blah blah. Like nobody will acquiesce to like, oh yeah, they went over budget. Like nobody will say the words. And it wasn't. It's not just them that got necessarily accused of it. It's everyone. I mean, like everyone that had a big and it was specifically this round that had like a big set. People thought, I don't know, that like, was that only 5 million won?
Right.
Is that, you know, so like people were suspicious, and it's not because Ateez would have done anything wrong. And in fact, it sucks that like they caught strays for this. Because there was a previous show that we know that there was Road to Kingdom, and before that there was Queendom, and during those shows, Mnet was also accused of like doing favoritism and you know, turning a blind eye to, you know, exceeded budgets and stuff. So like it's not an Ateez thing. it's an Mnet thing, because if it was going to be a restriction that they couldn't use props that they already had made and wouldn't cost extra money other than like transporting them to bring in, then that should have been made clear. And if they could use those props, then that should have been made clear.
Right.
And so none of it is Ateez's fault. They put on an awesome stage show. However, like, it does suck for other groups who maybe like could have brought in props from stuff on a tour and wouldn't have thought to, and you know, like there's a lot. But again, like, I don't think this is Ateez's fault. But at the time, like, I literally, like, while we were watching the full version of their video, I knew that was a controversy. I was pretty sure it was this stage specifically because giant Kraken arm kind of stands out. And I looked down into the comments, and it seemed like the general sense was that people were mad at Ateez in Korea, and international fans were upset because, like, they're not like a super popular group in Korea at the time. They're really more popular internationally. And so they're on the show to try and get more, you know, viewership and listenership in Korea. And it just sucks that, like, first round they're already catching strays for this. Like, it sucks. Like, it may potentially hurt, which it's frustrating a little bit more too, because, like, it was a good performance. Like, what are you mad about? Like, you can be mad like, oh, maybe the performance wasn't super fair to SF9 or something. I don't know if that's what they want to make the argument or whatever.
Why?
I don't know who would make that argument, but, like, if you wanted to say, like, oh, well, yeah, Mnet should have probably been better at their jobs because that was their job. But it wasn't Ateez's job. Ateez's job was to put on a good show, and they did that. So fuck it. I don't know. Like, that's fine.
Okay, so here's the thing for me is that you're talking about how big this budget is.
Yeah.
Okay, like let's just say that regardless of if they went over budget and used props that they already had or whatever, everyone had this budget, right?
Yes.
Like this is Mnet saying you can spend up to this much.
Right.
So, like, I didn't see that kind of money in the first three performances, except for maybe let me look, maybe Icon. No, sorry. The Boys.
Yeah.
The Boys had a pretty good props and stage presence and stuff. Like, they probably used a good portion of the budget. But, like, B2B, what'd they spend their money on? Nothing.
Trees.
You know, some trees.
And they had well, you know, like,
they didn't spend. My point is they didn't spend $4 million, and maybe if they had, they would have had a better reception. You know, if they had factored the money into what kind of performance they wanted to give, and they had actually, like, spent their budget that they were allotted, then they would have had a better performance, and I would have enjoyed it more. Whereas Ateez spent their money and did the big stuff. You know, like, they put on a $4 million performance.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they did great. I think part of it is that you're not just paying for your set, you're paying for your dancers.
Right.
So if you have a lot of backup dancers and you have to have a lot of crew moving stuff around, maybe that has to be factored in. Like, that's labor costs are expensive, right? So it's not all set. It's got to be that side of it as well. So, like, you know, they had a whole scene where Minhyuk in B2B was fighting in the forest all these ninja type characters, and then he defeated them and they fell down, and that was their whole part in the whole show. So like, perhaps if they did more than just that, I don't know. But, you know, backstage, who knows? Like, maybe they ripped off those masks and threw on a robe, and now we're backup dancers in the next scene. I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know. You know, we can only speculate on where their money went because they are not transparent about it. Like, why would they be? So, yeah. I did want to ask you what you thought of the 4-octave high note. How did you?
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the experience that we had is that like in the very first episode, and even maybe before Kingdom aired, they were putting out teasers where they showed the that high note, and they cut it off, and it made and turned down the background audio, and so it sounded like out of place, out of tune. It was weird, and so like I was expecting to get to that point and hate it, and then like even last year when we watched it, they got to that point, and I was like, oh, it was really good. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. It also was more than I was expecting. Like he kept going, and somebody else mentioned this. Like somebody else from another group mentioned it as well, where he was like, okay, he went up one, and that could have been it, and then he did it again, and that could have been it, and then he did it again. Right. And it's just like, all right, when are you gonna stop?
It's impressive. He's very impressive. Like that's not easy to do. Also, I love a lot of the guys in Ateez. I think that they stand out. They're so unique, and I feel like they're really good at showing their personalities. Like, yeah, so good, just so good.
So one of our chatters, they're saying that the budget got updated partway through. I think we need to research that, and we'll come back on the next episode with more information.
Yeah, we can look into it. I mean I read a couple of articles while we were watching the performance video, but at least from Mnet's response, they didn't say that that's what happened. They just kind of said like we should have communicated things better and left it at that. So it's gonna be hard to tell, because there were a lot of like, if you were on the Mnet Kingdom subreddit, like, and I did go to it to check that out, it's like rumors upon rumors, and so it's hard to discern like what was the actual cause and what was just a rumor at the time of why it happened. So it's, we can look more into it and see if we can find like the most up-to-date article and then come back to it. But it's a ridiculous controversy anyway, and again, like Ateez didn't deserve to be attacked for it, so I don't know. It's just like,
regardless of what the circumstances were, Ateez is not to blame. Mnet is.
The one thing that everyone can agree on is that Mnet sucks, and I mean, like, yeah, Mnet sucks. That's what everyone can agree on.
Yeah. And then next up was SF9, which surprisingly I didn't hate.
That's crazy. So explain yourself. You didn't hate this.
What about it? Look, I'm going to be honest. I didn't really take a lot of notes on the performance. The only notes that I took on a performance was when I wrote Stray Kids, best performance, hands down. And that is before I saw Ateez and SF9. So I jumped the gun a little bit, it's showing my bias there. But I mean, still, I still feel that way. However, I will admit Ateez did really well and are comparable. They're up there. So
for sure.
SF9, they did good. They put on a really good performance.
Are you saying that they were good guys?
Oh my gosh.
I thought that their story, like the story that was told for their segment, was like the best story that came about, because a lot of the other ones, like even Stray Kids, they were fun and goofy and doing their thing, but like this one actually has a lot of like drama involved, because like you really get to see when like they're having a practice and like 3 members are there, or I think even the first practice had 2 members and the choreographer, and they were the only ones there to sit down and talk about what they wanted to do. Like, damn, like the other members were so busy they couldn't come at that time, and so you constantly saw people like cycle in and out, like, oh yeah, I have to do this thing at 4:30, but I wanted to get some practice in and then bounce, and it's just like it's such a disadvantage for them. And so like based on that, I think that their performance was actually at a really high level for like being like
as busy as they were.
Were, and just
I agree.
Although I think we are bearing the lead because I kind of forgot about it because I didn't realize it, even though they said it in the show last year, that Ateez had a comeback the same week as they were working on round one. So I don't know, like that's also crazy because when you have a comeback, you do music shows almost every day of the week, and you do it for 2 weeks while you're promoting. So that's crazy. That is really crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, SF9, Jealous.
Yeah.
Did it make you feel jealous?
Jealous. Oh, 시간 없어 jealous. Baby 거기 so jealous. Oh, 전부 걸었어 jealous.
No, but it did make me question: does the word in Korean, the words, I guess, for in Korean for I did it sound like the English word jealous? Because that's what the subtitles, I think it was I did it. The subtitles would say I did it anytime they said jealous, and I'm like, they're saying jealous? Are they saying the English word jealous, or are they saying a Korean word that sounds like jealous that is I did it?
The song in the label on
is
the
jealous.
Video says jealous.
Yeah,
so
I know, but maybe it's like a play on words kind of thing.
Yeah, it could be a pun, could be a homophone. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe we'll look that up. Maybe that's something we'll look up.
All right.
Maybe there will be nowhere to find that information, and we'll have to find a Korean person to translate for. Oh, you know what? We could ask Jeanette's dad, but then I would have to ask Jeanette's dad. So that's maybe Jeanette would do that.
Yeah.
Wink.
Speaking of Korean things, everyone, I thought it was just a Stray Kids thing where they say fighting all the time, but everyone says fighting.
Everyone says
that's
fighting.
just like a Korean saying for like let's go or whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's it's like break a leg, right? Like just like fighting, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody says it.
Everybody says it.
Everybody says it. Well, I guess I was exposed to that because, you know, the first thing that Jeanette and I watched was the Neezy Project, the Niju survival show. So it happens constantly in that. And so when we moved from that to Stray Kids, it didn't seem out of place really at all.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, SF9 did great. When I watched it last year, I was not really impressed. I felt like it was like, I don't know. In general, I think I was harder on all the groups than I am now. But I thought that, I mean, certainly like improvement. I think that it was better than their last stage, and I hope to see better from them in the future too. So
yeah, I will say I was shocked when the
results came out,
the results for that included the self-evaluation, SF9 dropped to number 6, and I was like, what? Because should we get into my rankings, my prediction?
Should we let's
so we'll talk about professional evaluations and then the self-evaluations and then where I place them. Huh?
Yeah. So the professional evaluations were done. The ranking, starting from number 1, was Ateez, Stray Kids, The Boys, SF9 in 4th place, iKON in 5th place, and B2B in 6th place, which Tom heartily agrees with, I'm sure.
Yes, I do. B2B can stay at the bottom.
They did the self-assessment added to that, so they get combined together to see how that would change things. First, still Ateez. Second, still Stray Kids. Third is now The Boys. So they moved up. Or no, they're the same.
No, they're the same.
Yeah, so top 3, all the same. 4th place, B2B, jumped up 2 spots.
Yeah.
5th place,
still
iKON, still iKON. And then SF9 jumped down 2 places, which meant that they got no votes in the self-evaluation, which sucks. Like, that's that, and especially because like they made a point of showing Icon, who has like the waiting room next to them, like cheering for them to like when they were about to go on to be like, you can do it, blah blah blah, and going back and forth. Like they made a point to show that, and I think it was to like Mnet literally trying to drum up the drama, because like they were feeling camaraderie with this other group, and then when it came to the evaluation, that group did not vote for them.
Right.
So I don't know. That's crazy. I just
I want to know. I don't know. The self-evaluation votes kind of confuse me. I don't really understand how they're calculated, but whatever. That's not the point.
It's just that each group gets 3 votes, just like somebody who's voting on Who's Fan.
Right. Okay, I see.
And you vote. You have to vote for 3 groups.
The fact that they got 6th means nobody voted for them.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
That is insane to me, because my picks.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of my opinion, I'll say my ranking, but then I also am predicting the final ranking, like the actual ranking. So my picks: number 1, Stray Kids, obviously.
Yeah.
Number 2, which is a close, like really close to first place, as well as obviously Ateez. My number 3 was SF9. I thought they did better than the other 3 groups. Yeah.
Okay.
I put SF9 at number 3, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Number 4 and 5 are kind of tied for me between Icon and the boys. I feel like they had a good performance, but it wasn't anything spectacular, and they kind of they were similar in that regard, right? And obviously number 6, BTB, they didn't fucking do anything but sing, so who gives a shit. So yeah, I mean, like the Icon and the boys are interchangeable for me between 4 and 5, but yeah, SF9 surprised me, and Ateez especially surprised me tonight, because I thought that their performance was comparable to Stray Kids.
Yeah.
So, my prediction, however.
Okay. Oh yeah. I want to hear it. For you mean including the views and the votes from fans around the world?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. How do you think that's going to roll out?
Okay, my prediction for that is number 1, Ateez. Number 2, Stray Kids.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, still SF9. I feel like the fans are gonna come back for SF9.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think the boys.
Oh, interesting.
And
number 4's the boys.
Number 5, Icon.
Oh,
number
okay.
6,
You need to put BTB at the bottom. Okay. All right, fair enough. I figured you would, but yeah, okay. That's it's locked in now. It's recorded. You can't take it back. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Tune in next week, or open Google and find out for yourself.
Yeah, you can just Google it
whether I'm right,
and then see how accurate the prediction was. You'll find out. I
want to Google it so bad now.
No, don't do it.
Anna, Google it for me and tell me.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I do want to tease you.
Okay.
As the show was about to when we turned it off, because we didn't want to see any actual video of the performances. But I do want to tell you, because like the show did tell you, it wouldn't have been a surprise, really. They're going to get into it more specifically, but I actually have homework that I'll just ask you how you feel we should do it. But what the next theme is for round 2 is Reborn, and what they're going to do is have the different groups cover each other's songs.
Oh, interesting.
In their own style. And have them be reborn in their own style. Get it?
Right.
But we spent 50 million episodes at this point, getting you to know the whole back catalog of Stray Kids up to this point. So like, doesn't matter what song anyone picks to cover for Stray Kids, you're gonna know it. And if Stray Kids uses one of their songs and performs it, you're gonna know it. Like, so that doesn't really matter, right? You're gonna know that. But if other groups are covering each other, you're not gonna know all of those songs. So I had thought either I can give you homework and be like, okay, you have to listen to all these songs, but I feel like I don't want to do that because that gives away what songs they are. Or when we go and when we actually watch the episodes next week, then as we watched all the full performances this week, we can also include the original versions of each song so that you can see what the original versions
so
are.
you think I should watch the reborn performance before I listen to or watch the original performance?
That's what I'm confused about. That's what I'm because I don't want to spoil for you like who is paired with what or what song they pick, because that's all like drama that happens in the show.
Yeah, but I'm not going to know that just by listening to the song.
I guess so. I guess you're just going to know which song is picked once they, pick which artist that they're going to cover.
You don't have to tell me. I won't listen to the Stray Kids song either, because like you said, I've heard all the Stray Kids songs up to this point.
Right, yeah, you don't have to do that. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It won't matter to me emotionally what Stray Kids song is picked, or that being spoiled for me. But I can listen to the other songs, I think, and it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. It's up to you.
I'm thinking about it. Because I think it would be interesting for you to actually see them be reborn rather than just seeing the reborn version and then going back and being like, oh, that's how it was originally.
Right.
It's like going the other direction makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes I feel like you it's weird to hear or see something that is a remake and then go back and watch the original and try to decide which one you prefer, Well,
right, but that was literally my experience when I first watched Kingdom, because I didn't know these other groups, I didn't know their songs. So we watched the episode, and then I was like, I wonder what the original one sounds like, and then went back and watched it, and then rewatched the performance, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't, just because that's the way that it happened to me, doesn't mean that that's the right way or the way that makes the most sense. So I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like you need the original. You need the original you should always have the original context, right? Like,
right.
Even if it's going to be a separate entity altogether. Like, let's take Ready Player One, for instance. Like, Ready Player One, I thought was such a fun read. Like, I loved reading that book, and it was really entertaining and all that. And then we went and watched the movie, and the movie's like nothing like the book, but it's still a good movie. And like having the comparison was good for me. But I'm not one of these fucking assholes that's like, well, it's not exactly like the book, so it's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Or, it was still a good movie because it's a separate entity. You don't have to treat it like it was supposed to be the book,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll try that. Yeah, now I gotta decide how I want to get that to you. Oh, maybe I'll just because I don't want you to get. You're gonna get if I send it to you on YouTube, you're 100% going to get other Kingdom songs fed to you in your recommendations. So instead, maybe I will. I'll just download a high res copy and throw it on Plex.
What you can do is you can send the list of songs to Anna, and then she can build me a Spotify playlist with those songs.
Oh. Yeah, let's make Anna do work. Yeah. Well, all in all, I think it was a pretty good set of performances we had. So yeah, I enjoyed my time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, well, we will commence the next round of Kingdom next week.
Yeah.
And feel free to join us. If you want to hop into our Discord, you can go to our link tree. It's got a link directly to our Discord, which is linktr.ee/makeastay. It's got lots of links on there. Enjoy them.
Yeah. And if you don't know what a / is, it's the one next to shift.
What if they don't know what shift is? On a phone, it's an up arrow.
Yeah. It's the one that slants forward.
I think most people know how to write a URL. I hope so. Am I that old?
Look, man, you have to type /Strayaboo to get all of the permissions. And not to name any names here or anything, but there have been multiple people that can't figure that shit out. So,
I'm just saying, it's fine. It's fine. I'm happy with it. But yeah, I'm old.
I'm not shitting on people who can't figure it out. It's just, it's one of those things where you don't know it until someone teaches it to you or shows you how to do it. So that's fine, so that's why I'm saying, if you don't know what a / is, first, before you try to go to our link tree, Google what a / is.
I think you could just Google Linktree make a stay and it'll get you there. So you could also just do that. If you're having trouble finding it. Anyway,
open your browser. It will by default go to a search engine. Use that search engine to go to Google. Use Google to go to Bing, and then search for Linktree Make a Stay podcast.
Don't do that. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. And bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.